What's up, Nerfers, and welcome back to my channel, where today I'm very excited to show you this comically large and powerful Nerf pistol called the Foxbat. Designed by Silly Butts, the same creator as the Slab, this actually has the same kind of air volume as the Slab while being a pistol form factor. It's sold by Out of Darts, who actually sent this one to me fully assembled. I'll put some links to it down below, but keep in mind those links go to help support my channel when you use them. So even if you just need to top up on some darts, use those links down below when you shop at Out of Darts. Anyway, back to the blaster itself. So being a 3D printed design, it's fully customizable with what color you want the filament to be. I left it up to the team at Out of Darts, and they've done a nice galaxy top slide for me. Orange frame, and they've done like a dark gray for the grip and the lower pick rail trigger and all that kind of stuff. If you catch the light just right on this particular filament, there's little specks of glitter throughout it. Probably not going to see that today because we are having a lot of cloud cover and 5 mil of rain. You can also see close up on both sides at the front, it has the name of the blaster, Foxbat. Now, in addition to customizing the color, when you order this thing, you can also choose what power level you'd like it to be. I think there's 4 or 5 different spring options, but they range from 120 FPS on the low end, all the way up to 200 plus, which is what I'm getting out of mine. Keeping in mind it does have the same air volume as the Slab, so we're going to be seeing similar kind of numbers as that. Now, if you know anything about Nerf springers at all, to achieve that kind of 200 plus FPS, this does have to be a fairly large blaster, both to fit the air volume of a Slab's plunger tube inside of it, plus you need to have a barrel. So measuring from the front to the back of this handy T-pull at the back of the slide, we've got 37 centimeters. So this is not a small pistol by any means. I probably wouldn't use it as a sidearm. Definitely more of a primary that you'd walk around with just by itself. In fact, just the barrel of this blaster is about 24 centimeters long, almost the entire length of the slide. And how it actually manages to fit a plunger tube in there then is that the plunger tube is underneath the barrel. When you rack back the slide like I have, it's now compressed to spring and it's locked into a catch. When you push it forward, all it's doing is chambering a dart. Internally, this fires backwards towards you, through a U-turn and then out the barrel. And when you close it, it's pushing a dart in and then sealing the barrel behind it so that the actual air is going into the barrel and not out the back. As a byproduct of that design, this blaster actually has slam fire. So if you hold down the trigger and then cock it, it'll just keep firing. Great for rapid fire in close quarters, although it doesn't allow you any time to actually aim your shots. For the trigger itself, because it is a linkage through to the front of the blaster where the actual catch is located, it is a little bit loose, there's a little bit of slack there, but once you take out that slack, it's basically a hair trigger from that point on. I will also say, as the rain starts, that this T-pull at the back of the blaster makes it incredibly effortless to prime the 200 plus FPS spring. It's just so lightweight to prime. But if you don't like a T-pull, you could actually remove this, and there's like little grooves on the top of the blaster, so you could just prime it manually, like a Retaliator or anything old school like that. For your magazines, there's 2 different types you can choose from on Out of Darts site. You've either got the standard worker Talon mag, straight mags, which go straight up in there. I probably wouldn't recommend these because it is fairly uncomfortable to hold. Having the straight magwell for straight talons, it is a 90-degree angle on the blaster for the grip there, which feels fairly unnatural and not very comfortable or ergonomic. I feel like the angled magwell would just be a little bit nicer than having it straight up and down. But that one's entirely up to you. Maybe you've got a bunch of standard talons and don't have any angled, so you want to stick with standard talons instead. Whichever magwell you choose, the mags just click in place like the OG Talon adapters from 6+ years ago. When you push them in, there's no mag release or anything like that. You literally just pull them out and there's like a spring-loaded detent in there that must be holding them in place. Now, one more thing I'll mention before we get onto testing is that at the front here, you do have enough of that 16mm OD, 13mm ID aluminium barrel that you could add some rifling. It would have to be a fairly slim rifling though, like a P-car, something made of plastic like a Worker one, or Dart Zone made one recently as well, just so that it fits inside the muzzle there, and that will improve your accuracy by giving spin to the darts. The sights on here are not ideal. The rear post is fairly wide, so it's not giving you a precision shot. So I'm not going to bother with any rifling today. It also doesn't come with any out of the box. But if you do want some more precision shots out of this thing than what you see later today, I would look at adding some pick rail or an RMR mount itself by modifying the files or something like that, so that you can put a proper sight on top of the rail here. Anyway, let's move on to the chrono test. Okay guys, for the chrono test today, I've got two different types of darts, standard 1 gram worker bamboos, and I'll be comparing them against Sabre 1.3 gram, 30% heavier T-darts. Let's do the worker darts first, standard 1 gram. Nice and easy to slide into the magwell and just clicks in place. Here goes. 215, 230, 235, 232, 236, 222, 222, 223, very consistent, 232, 231, 224, 237, 222, 235, and 223. That's all the darts done. Let's switch to heavier Sabre darts. 30% heavier. Will they be 30% slower? 194, 205, 204, 207, 205, 220 from a heavy dart, 202, error, 209, 218, 200, 224 from a heavy dart, 182, that was a bit lower, 224, error. We've had 2 errors, so I'll fire 2 more darts. Shot number 1, 207, and the second one, 206. I don't think that's losing 30% of its velocity somehow. Perhaps this barrel gets a better seal on Sabre darts versus the bamboos. Over the chrono, standard 1 gram worker bamboos averaged 227 feet per second with a very consistent standard deviation of only 6. Sabre darts, being 30% heavier, didn't actually lose anywhere close to 30% of their velocity, instead averaging a still fairly high 207 FPS. Their standard deviation did jump up to 11, but that's still quite passable, especially considering this is a pistol. Now, let's see how both dart types shoot for accuracy. For the accuracy test today, I'll be shooting at this 1 meter diameter round target from 30 meters away, or 100 feet for my American viewers. Because I have no rifling on here, it'll be a very interesting comparison between worker darts and Sabre darts to see which one is more accurate with no accuracy mods whatsoever. I am excited to see what the results hold. So here we go. First of all, with the 1 gram worker bamboos. Using this sandbag as a rest. That's a hit from worker darts. More over to the right, that one, even though we're aiming at the same exact spot. Back over the left. Seems our dispersion is probably about 90 centimeters. Except that one missed the target entirely, fishtailing off into the fence behind. That one narrowly missed as well. Center. Center. The worker darts are definitely spiraling a bit more than they normally would through rifling. You get the old one that goes straight like that. Bit to the left. Center. Center. Left. That's all 15. Now saber darts, being a little bit heavier, might not rely as much on rifling, but here goes. That's a hit over on the left there. More towards the center, but a little low. More towards the right, but a little low. Like I actually missed. That's over on the left. Center, but high. High, but center. Pretty close to the center, a little bit above it, I think. Little to the right. Left. Left. Seems to have a similar dispersion to the worker. We haven't had one miss the target yet though. Center. Left. Pretty close to center, that one. So with no rifling. Bit to the left. Right of center. That's all 15 done. At a distance of 30 meters with no rifling whatsoever, just because I was interested to see. Worker darts in blue had a spread about 1.2 meters wide, while saber darts in red were slightly better with only a 1 meter spread. The bottom line here is that you should always be using some form of Nerf rifling, and the types that would fit the Foxbat are slimline plastic ones such as the Worker P-Car or Dart Zone P-Car. I did visually notice that worker darts spiraled a lot more in the air than saber darts did, which would explain the very high right shot plus the 2 left shots. But what do I think of the blaster overall? After testing and using the Foxbat for a day of gameplay, the power this thing has reminds me a lot of the old school rainbow pistol that I used to have years ago. Except this is actually mag fed rather than being single shot. Just a little bit of a step up in rate of fire, especially considering this also has slam fire. This is a rather large pistol though. Probably a bit too large for most to consider a sidearm, but I think it's well designed for use as a primary and would be more ergonomic with the angled talon grip compared to my straight one. Throw some rifling on there, attach a sight, which you could easily do by extending the 2 screws at the rear, just add some pick rail on there, and when you get it dialed in, you'll have a long range, highly accurate match grade Nerf pistol. Find it at Out of Darts using the links down below, and you can also use those same links to buy anything else you need, and it will support my channel. Like, comment, subscribe, and all of that. Here's to other videos you might enjoy, and as always, thank you very much for watching. See ya.